Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this week's episode of Mocktail Minutes. This is Bailey.
And this is Brianna.
This week, I am drinking a Poppi. It's a different flavor. I haven't tried this one, the raspberry rose. You've done this one before on episode. So I was just and I was like, rose or rosé? But I remember you were saying there's no line about it.
There's no lines. I don't know, but
we're going to go with rose.
Rose.
It's not my favorite. I'm not going to puke on it, but I don't know. I like some other flavors better.
Yeah, me too. They have them at my Costco right now, so I almost got them, but I didn't. Today I'm just finishing up my last bit of Rayvi.
Sad.
I got creative last episode when we just did our short and sweet book recs. I did the chocolate element finally.
Yeah.
I made like a collagen hot chocolate with it. It was pretty good. You don't need the whole pack.
I usually don't use the whole pack. It's just too much for me.
Yeah.
I need to try it. I have a bunch of chocolate ones, and I've tried it one time in a smoothie, and it was pretty good, but I just don't ever think about it because I have them at work, and so, like, my main thing I mix my electrolytes with is water. I'm like, salty chocolate and water just does not.
I don't think it would taste good. Yeah. But a smoothie is a good idea. Yeah.
I've been on a big chocolate banana smoothie kick lately.
It's my favorite.
Yeah. Well, I guess we haven't really talked about it on the podcast. I'm having a baby.
I don't think we have. I think this is the first. Yeah, this is our first time recording after you've announced it.
Yes. The whole world knows. You've known for a little bit, but now that I let the world know. But mainly my breakfast has been chocolate banana smoothies. So that's the only thing I can eat without vomiting everywhere. So that's super fun.
That's so fun. The food aversions. That's fun. That's good. I mean, at least you found something that's works for you. It's filling. Mm-hmm. We'll see how long it lasts you. And then you'll have a new interesting flavor probably.
Yeah. Well, I tried to switch it up one day and I did. I think all I changed was I put strawberries in it instead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not happening. I was like, seriously.
Have you had any weird food aversions where you're like, usually I love this, but I can't have it?
Salads. And I don't really eat a lot of salads, but when I go out to restaurants, I love to get a side salad because we've talked about restaurant salads. Yeah, no, that ain't happening. So that's really only been the thing. And then I hate the smell of hot wings lately, or jalapeno smelling things. Like Josh had jalapeno Cheez-Its the other night, and I was like, you need to just stop eating them. Get away from me.
All the way away from me. And then your sense of smell is super strong.
It is. I got in the car one day, he was already in it and everything, and I got in, I was like, it smells like dirty feet and cheese in here. And he's like, what? And I was like, it smells terrible, and it's my car. So I'm like, there's nothing weird in it that's rotting. He's like, well, I just ate a bag of cheddar Ruffles. And I was like, yep, that's it.
It's the cheddar. Yeah, it's the cheddar.
And they were already gone. Literally the only thing that was in there was the bag.
You'll get the bag out. Oh, yeah. I remember hating chicken, which was really hard for me because chicken is such a normal thing for me to eat. I could not eat chicken.
And I think that has been kind of the weird part for me, is just kind of adjusting my eating, because I eat more frequently now. Yeah. I used to be able to eat breakfast at 7. I ate lunch around 1. I had a snack around 5, dinner around 7. That was kind of my meal pattern. Now I'm eating about every 2 to 3-ish hours. Mm-hmm. So it's very different for me, which was just hard to adjust. And then I guess I've increased my carbs too.
Yeah.
Just because that's what baby needs right now. And so I feel like that has just been kind of weird. But I haven't had the meat aversions, because I've talked to a lot of people and they're like, I could not do any meat. I'm like, no, we're good there. I've actually really liked popcorn chicken, which isn't the best for her. But,
Yeah, chicken, it was weird. So then I couldn't eat any chicken restaurants that I knew that I liked. Chipotle, I really like Chipotle. I refused to even try Chipotle chicken because I was like, if this ruins it for me, we're done. What do I even do? So.
Yes. Yeah. And meatballs were actually my cravings last week. And so my coworker actually made me homemade meatballs. So they were really good.
Oh, that's nice.
Really, it hasn't been any like more aversions, but I've been loving my popcorn chicken, blueberries, strawberries are it this week. It was grapes for like 2 days.
Yeah. Fruit. I did crave a lot of fruit.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fruit, and then like my main vegetable has been zucchini and carrots. The other day, I had carrots, and they literally, I posted on Instagram. Everyone thought I was insane. I was like, they taste like a glazed donut, and they really did.
Hmm.
The people in my office, they were like, "Is this your dietitian trick?" I'm like, "No, seriously, they
No,
taste
no,
like
they just taste like a glazed donut. I wish carrots taste like a glazed donut to me.
they were good." I don't know what it is. I'm like,
That's hilarious. I
so
love
yeah,
it.
it's been fun, and I'm excited to kind of share kind of my journey with everyone because I think a lot of questions that we get to is just like how to adjust, and I think this is always an important part is that nutrition is never like black and white. You're going to do this for the whole rest of your life type of thing. It's always going to adjust based on what your goals are, what season of life you're in, and
Mm.
sometimes it's okay if those adjustments are a little hard.
Yeah, exactly. Like learning really what your body needs and how to adjust it to make whatever's happening work.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be
Yeah.
exciting to share.
So we'll keep you guys updated. I was thinking about this because we, like a couple episodes ago, we were like, we should share our life updates. And then the next episode, we are like, we have nothing going on in our lives.
Well, dang it. But you do, so that's exciting. Now you got a lot of stuff going on. So we're gonna share Bailey's life update.
Thanks. So yes, having a baby, getting married, building a house. We're just doing
Yeah,
it all right now.
it's exciting.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I guess kind of talking about the different goals we have and adjusting with the new year coming in. I mean, we're almost like halfway through January, I feel like. Okay, well, not really. It's like the second week, but it feels like
I don't even know where the first like week went. It just like wasn't a
it was a
week.
wash.
Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah, it just wasn't.
It was survival.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think a lot, and it could be because we work with many weight loss clients, but a lot of people have been like, okay, we are ready for this new year, ready to lose this weight. And so we get started, and then the follow ups questions are like, all right, but how do I do this quicker? Like, we all want the quick results. We want it to be not taking a year.
Hmm.
So we're going to dive into how to lose weight quicker. But the caveat to this, I think, is I don't know, like, quick is not always the best option. Like, yes, you can do things to lose weight quicker, but we also want it to be sustainable and safe weight loss as always.
Yeah,
And I think
and
that's what it
fat
kind of,
loss.
yeah, I
You
think
know.
that's what it kind of comes down to because we can really make anyone lose weight. That is the easy part. I can tell you to just eat less, do the whole calories in, calories out method.
Hmm.
Because even though we talk about like that's not what we really focus on, at the end of the day, like if you eat less and have a calorie deficit, yes, you will lose weight. But then the question is, are you fueling your body? Is it inflamed? Are you getting enough of your macronutrients? Are you malnourished? Can you sustain this? Are you sleeping well? You know, like all these other things come with it. So that weight loss part is easy, but how about your overall wellness that comes along with it?
Right. And keeping it off, because we've talked before that sometimes I get some pushback of people being like, well, dieting does work. Okay. So maybe in the beginning it does because you're doing something really different than you're used to. But eventually, if it's not sustainable or if you're doing it in a way that's not going to be sustainable in the long run, does it really work?
Mhm.
You know?
And that's kind of a tough love moment I think we have to have is if you are coming to us asking for help with weight loss and you're like, well, I've done this before. I want to do it again because it worked. My
Hmm.
question is, did it really work if you're questioning what to do next?
Yeah. Did it really work if you want to do it again?
And you have to keep going on and off, on and off, on and
Yeah,
off.
exactly. So today we're going to give you kind of like the things that we do to help people sustainably lose weight faster with the disclaimer that faster is relative, right? Everybody's different, but sometimes there are things that you could be doing to get quicker results if you're at a place where you're like, okay, I'm really ready to like I feel good. I'm like ready to like do some things that I need to do. So
This is kind of a controversial topic for us.
yeah.
Like, might get some
Yeah.
pushback. I don't know. Some people might really like it. Some people might be like, oh my gosh, you shouldn't promote this fast weight loss. We're not saying to lose 10 pounds in a week.
No.
But
I wouldn't even say it's fast weight loss. I just think it's
yeah,
how to achieve goals more quickly. But again, we're doing it in a way that's like a healthy way. So again, quicker is kind of relative. Like if your idea is like, ooh, let me drop 10 pounds in a week. Yeah, that's not like really what we mean at all. But here's some things because I think there is, I talked to a lot of clients about this. I think there's like a window, right? So like when you come to Metabolism Makeover or you start working with us like one-on-one, most of the time we're laying the foundation. We are undieting, we're getting used to actually eating enough food, we're changing all these behaviors that are like healthy for the long run. And sometimes that means not focusing on goals. Like sometimes people have to get to a place where they're like, okay, I'm going to take the timeline out of it. I'm not going to focus on weight loss. I really just need to build up this foundation. Once you have that, there's kind of like a twist that comes, like it changes. And suddenly when you have that foundation laid, it's like, I am in a place to lose weight. What do I do now? And like, this is the things you could do. Like, because weight loss isn't bad, right? It's, we always talk about that. It's how you go about it. It's your mindset behind it. It's like why you're doing it and really like your long-term health. So this is probably like for the people that feel like, okay, I've like laid the foundation. Like, what can I do now? Sort of thing.
so let's dive into it. We have kind of 5 main things that we've narrowed down that essentially will help you get there when you're asking yourself, like, all right, how do I do this closer? My brain just does not work. How do I do this faster? So, number 1, protein.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this whole episode, we're just going to be like saying things with caution because these are not the only things we want to focus on. This is like on top of all the other stuff. But
Yeah.
like protein is going to be a metabolism booster. Protein itself does increase your thermic effect of food, which is essentially the amount of energy it takes to break down and use your food.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to increase your metabolism there. It's also going to be fulfilling. It's going to satisfy you. So that way you're not as hungry throughout the day and you're not eating all day long. You kind of have these little breaks between meals. And then protein is made up of amino acids, which help build muscle. When you
Mm-hmm.
build muscle, muscle is directly correlated with increasing your metabolism. So, you know, it's kind of with thinking about how much protein, we always kind of recommend to start between 20 and 30 grams. Now, if you're not getting any protein, if you're not eating breakfast, start with 10 grams. Start somewhere, but it's also going to be individual because some people are good with 30 grams per meal. Some
Mm-hmm.
people need closer to like 40, 45 grams. It's going to depend person to person. I would say personally, I aim for about 100 grams of protein per day. To give you
Yeah.
reference, I'm 5'3", I'm very petite. That's kind of what I aim for.
Yeah. I would say like as like a blanket statement, most women a goal of 100 is good, right? Like there are women who need more. There might, I don't really know if there's some women that need less. Like again, we're both pretty like short and that's, kind of just what I go with. But, 100 grams a day is a really good goal for a lot of people. Like I see people that are like, they're sitting at 40. That's like their normal amount. So really being more protein focused, I think will help because again, like you said, it's satiating. We don't have a good way of storing protein as fat like we do with the other macronutrients. And then it also helps to stabilize blood sugar, which is also going to help weight loss. And then
Yes.
again, there's no way you're going to be getting in 100 grams of protein a day and skipping meals. So it makes it to where you're not running off cortisol, which also helps. So protein really does help so many things when it comes to weight loss.
And even thinking about our protein recommendations, they are going to be higher if you look up government recommendations, but those recommendations are meant for you to not get malnourished. So, for example, I just did this math really quickly, but for me, for government recommendations, it'd be about like 45 grams of protein.
Yeah.
So, about half than what I aim for. Just a reference there.
Yeah. Exactly. It's so you don't have deficiencies and so you're not at risk of malnourishment and you know, but that's like and again, like clinical setting. Like and we know this and there's a lot of studies that are coming up that's like, "Oh, it's way higher than we thought that it was." And we have like a lot more like people kind of pushing to change the recommendations, which is great, but I think people get really scared of protein and if you have healthy functioning kidneys, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. So, obviously, if you have health issues, like talk with your doctor. But yeah, so if you look up where, because I think the recommendation, I know the recommendation, I don't think it's zero 0.8 grams per kilogram body weight. That's pretty
Yes.
low. We're talking more like, I like to say 0.8 to 1 grams per pound body weight is kind of like where I like to sit, depending on your weight. But
I would agree. Yeah. So that's our word on protein. Next one that kind of goes along with it is workouts.
yes.
Workouts, I feel like there's been a big trend lately with a lot of clients that I've talked to that it's been a lot of hit workouts. Hit workouts have their place. I mean, any workouts are going to be beneficial. What I see is we're doing too many hit workouts and it's causing a little stress to the body. The body doesn't
Mhm.
like to be stressed out. So, making some adjustments like increasing strength training is going to be more metabolic friendly and can help boost your metabolism because you're building that muscle again.
Right. I think a lot of people look at HIIT and even cardio as like, oh, the most bang for your buck because you burn the most calories like quickly, right? You can go do HIIT for like 20 minutes and burn like a ton of calories. And again, okay, if you're looking at it from a calorie perspective, but I think a lot of women have tried that for years. Like, let me just do a ton of cardio. And so when we're talking about fat loss, cardio is not great for fat loss. You need to be focusing on building up your lean muscle because that also helps to increase how many calories you burn at rest every day. So increasing lean muscle mass really is more bang for your buck. Not that you gotta stop doing cardio, but if you're like, oh, I do a HIIT class 4 to 5 days a week, that's probably where you're going wrong. And yeah, you're gonna have that stress response, especially if you have things in your life going on, like literally anything. Like if you have stressors, choosing to be in another high state of stress, not the best. So pulling back on the HIIT, increasing the strength training, that you're going to really see a big difference, especially in body composition too.
And I think too, like if you've been doing these types of workouts for a while and you're not really seeing the results you want, it's kind of a good sign to give it a little change up. And I'm not saying like if you love Orange Theory or boxing or F45 or like your hit class at Hotworks or anything like that, I'm not saying to quit it because I think it's a great idea to do workouts you enjoy. I'm saying just adjust your schedule. So it's
Mhm.
not a hit workout 5 times a week. Maybe you do a hit twice a week, strength training 3 times a week. See what a difference that can make for you.
Or even just adjusting, like, what are you doing around your workouts? Like, are you waking up first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, drinking coffee on the way to Orange Theory? All the stress at once? Or, are you not being mindful of like, how did I sleep last night? Am I in a good place to do like a really intense workout this morning? So just checking in with yourself because I feel like, especially as women, like, we are just like, ooh, I'm going to show up the same way every single day, no matter what. And that's not a good plan when it comes to your hormones. So, like, really, like, being intentional, like, I do enjoy HIIT. This is what I like. Let me figure out when it actually works for me so that it's beneficial because just doing it every single day in hopes that like eventually I'm going to lose weight, like that's not serving anybody.
Yeah. So you mentioned kind of our next one, sleep. Sleep is another one I feel like it just gets looked over all the time.
Okay.
Sleep is going to be important. This is when our body is going to restore, it's going to repair those muscles. It's going to get a chance to relax a little bit, hopefully. I mean, like 7 to 9 hours of sleep is a great place to be in. And not just thinking about the quantity, but also the quality of sleep. Like if you're waking up every hour, you're not really getting high quality sleep probably. So then it's diving in like, is there something else going on that is affecting your sleep?
Yeah, exactly. This is looked over. I think people are just like, I'm so busy. I do really well with 5, 6 hours of sleep. You don't, you think you do because it's cortisol and we feel great running off cortisol. Like, but that's not what your body wants, especially if your goal is weight loss. So being really intentional with your sleep, which, going to the quality of sleep means like maybe rearranging alcohol. If you're someone who likes like that nightly drink or a glass of wine or cocktail, you're not getting good quality sleep, even though you think it helps you. But that's like a major one. Like I will see people skip out on that all the time. And
Yeah,
it's so important.
it really is. And I've kind of noticed how it's affected me a little bit because I used to have like no issue sleeping, and now I get to wake up a couple times in the night to pee, and it's
Mm.
just annoying. And I know you guys know what I'm talking about because I hear it all the time, and now I get to join the club.
Those are good things that you forget about. I don't know why. I'm like, oh, I forgot about that. You do have to wake up so much to pee. So yes, sleep is important. And then it's like, and I'm sure you're going to have a lot of information of like, personal experience going forward about this, but adjusting what your movement looks like the next day based off of how you slept and giving yourself the grace to do that is going to really be beneficial.
And
Yeah.
I think when it comes to adjusting, I think it's also a point to kind of get honest with yourself a little bit because, I mean, not to be like, oh, you just make excuses, but I do see some people where it's like we unintentionally make these excuses of, oh, because I stayed up watching Netflix too long, I didn't get to bed on time, so now I'm going to skip my workout.
Mm-hmm.
Not That's not so much what we're talking about here. It's
No.
more like, well, let me give you this example. So I got to bed on time and everything. Yesterday, I started getting sore throat. Woke up this morning, sore throat. I was coughing all night. I had planned today to do my typical walk plus a workout. I'm skipping my workout today because I already know I'm starting to maybe get a little sick. I don't feel my best. So I'm not going to push it even more. I might still do a little gentle walk,
Mhm.
but I'm not going to go lift weights.
Right.
So that's an
And
example how you can adjust there.
and I think we'll get into that a little bit later, but being like, you gotta be the one that like does that check-in with yourself. Like, yes, give yourself grace to like, oh, maybe, I need more of this today, or I need to not work out as hard today. Like, yeah, but then also realizing like, am I just doing this because I'm not in the habit yet and I want to make excuses? Like there's a fine line. And so we'll get into that. But yeah, that's important. Our next one is hydrate with electrolytes or having some sort of minerals.
Yes. And Robin was recently on to talk all things electrolytes and minerals. So that's a very important episode to listen to. But hydration in general, like you gotta drink enough water. I mean, your body is 70% of water. So you can imagine what is like 2% dehydration. We start to notice effects from it. Like our brain just doesn't work as well. Our body systems are not going to work as well. Our blood flow isn't going to flow as well.
Yeah.
Or fatigue. We're going to get constipated. And even thinking about that, I mean, the amount of people that say they have IBS, and I'm not saying like your IBS diagnosis is BS or anything, but with IBS, a lot of times we can kind of fix that with getting enough fiber in,
Hmm.
adjusting the diet a little bit, hydrating. And it's like, okay, I didn't have something like physically wrong necessarily in my body. It's just my body needed a little bit of tweaks. And so there are so many people where I just get excited for because I'm like, you came to me pooping 2 to 3 times a week, and now we're going daily. That
Yeah.
feels pretty good.
IBS shouldn't be something that you're like, this is what I have lifelong and I struggle with it. I know it's kind of looked at it like that, like in the medical world, but it's not. That is a sign that things need to be switched up. And
Mhm.
hydration plays a huge role in that. Yeah. And if you're not pooping every day, you're going to feel heavier, right? Because hello, you are, but if you're not hydrated and you're feeling more tired, it's just you don't make decisions very good. Like when we're tired, we don't want to do anything. So you're less motivated to maybe move your body. And then if you're bloated and constipated, you feel even more. Like hydration is super important. And yeah, if you missed that episode with Robin, go back and listen to it because she does such a good job at explaining why it's so important that we hydrate effectively.
But I mean, your electrolytes, they're your spark plugs to your body systems. They are what's going to tell your body to do these things. It's going to tell your heart to contract so that we can get blood to our muscles. All these different things. I mean, your sodium is going to affect your blood pressure regulation so that
Mm.
we don't pass out, you know? So
Yeah.
it all goes together when it comes to weight loss and just that overall health. But yes, that hydration piece will be important. And not like walking around with gallon water bottles or anything like that.
Yeah.
In general, half your body weight in ounces.
Yeah. And you're just going to feel good. You feel good when you're hydrated. And when you feel good, you're more likely to do things. You know, it's kind of like the look good, feel good. It's also like,
Yeah.
I don't know, feel good, do good, you know?
Mhm.
Okay. The next one, and we get a lot. I mean, I don't know about you. I get a lot of questions about fasting. The 12-hour fast, which may be different than what you guys have heard about. You
Mhm.
want to talk about
12-hour fast, I would say it's safe, it's effective, doesn't add stress to the body, it's doable.
it? Yes.
With this being said, like I said, everything we're talking about, I feel like we're saying with caution because I know people are going to come at us and be like, well, that's not necessarily true, blah, blah, whatever. But
Yeah.
it's our podcast. We can say what we want.
Yeah.
We have science to back it up still.
Yeah. Yeah. We're competent.
Yes. So the 12-hour fast, like I said, all these different benefits to it. And then it's going to help your digestion. It's going to help with your blood sugar balancing. But I think what it can start to help is understanding that nighttime feeling of hunger. Like, are you actually hungry or are you bored watching TV? Are
Hmm.
you doing a kitchen drive-by? Are you just tired of sitting on the couch and you're looking for something else to do, you know? So I think it helps us become more intentional of what do we want to include. And then also, I like it because then if you skip breakfast, now you're getting that breakfast in within 12 hours. If it's not perfect, like that's totally fine. And some days it's going to be a little bit off. But in general, I think a 12-hour fast as often as you can is going to be super beneficial.
Yeah. I actually used to joke about it when we had our own Facebook groups for I used to call it the eating breakfast challenge because I find that most people who are like, I just have such a hard time night eating. There's no way I could do a 12-hour overnight fast. It's because you're not eating until like 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And so you're trying to get in all your calories. And maybe you don't realize you're hungry until your day is done. And you're like, oh my God, I need to eat. So the 12-hour fast really does make it to be like, dang, I do need to be intentional with breakfast. And it's like a game changer for a lot of people because so many people skip breakfast. Like so many people are like, oh, I don't eat until like 11 or 12, you know, or even 1. I'm like, oh, well, that's why you're feeling like crap.
Yeah, that's why you get so hungry at night and why you have all these cravings and all these other things. So 12-hour fast, I think it's where it's at. With that being said, yes, there is research around 16, 18-hour fast. That's a whole nother topic. And hopefully we're going to have a guest speaker come in and talk about it a little bit. But that is for when your body is in the right state of mind to do that.
Right, safe. And it's people fast so incorrectly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. It really should not such like a weight loss thing, more for health benefits, autophagy type thing.
Yeah. And like, and I'll just put this out there without going too far into it, but the reason why fasting, quote unquote, might work for people is because they're just eating so much less. If you do a 16 to 18-hour fast, you have to be very intentional with, let me make sure I'm still getting in adequate calories today. Most people just don't do that. So that's not the type of fasting we're talking about. So a 12-hour fast overnight, it makes it to where you have to eat a normal breakfast. You're eating normally throughout the day. You're not piling up all of your calories at night. And then you're giving your digestive system that time to reset. You're helping your hormones because you're not like trying to digest your food all night. 12-hour fast really does help.
So those are our like top 5 things we picked out of, all right, if you're really serious about your weight loss goals right now, this is what to do.
Yeah.
Now, kind of the next thing that we talked about before we hopped on, we were trying to figure out how to say this because if you know us and if you've been following us for a while, you know we're not so much like you need to be perfect, you need to never eat dessert, you need to like all the things that the dieting world tells us not to do. We're not a big yes no type
Yeah.
of podcast. So when thinking about this, Brianna said it in a really good way. Do you want to kind of go over the goal setting to match your actions?
Yeah. So thinking about it in a way, because you always want to have like a check-in with yourself, right? You want to lose weight, but you're not trying to do it in a way that's like, oh, I'm, crash dieting or whatever. Think about it as doing things in a goal supportive way. So what are your goals and what action steps can you take that support it? And I think something that's really good to check in with yourself and ask yourself is like, am I being intentional or am I just interested? Am I just interested in these things or am I actually doing them? Because a lot of times people are not. A lot of times people are still wanting that magic wand of just, I know more now. And so I'm mindful of it. So I should be losing weight instead of actually like getting in there, putting in the work in a way that still feels good to you and being goal supportive. Like, are you being intentional? And I think I see that a lot because we have a lot of clients that are now like, they're so mindful of everything that they can be doing. And maybe you've been listening to this for a while and you're like, oh, I feel like I know everything I should be doing, but are you actually doing it?
Mm-hmm.
It goes back to like the checking in with your body. Like, are you doing it? Like, for example, skipping a workout. Is it goal supportive? Ask yourself that. Well, yes, because I did not sleep very well. I'm like really high stress at work today. I just know like an intense workout isn't going to be goal supportive because that's not helping my hormones or my cortisol. Or am I skipping a workout because I'm like a little bit tired and I just like don't really want to do it? That's not very goal supportive, especially if you were yeah, that's not goal supportive. That's just you not being in a habit of something yet and making an excuse to not do it. And if that's what you want to do, totally fine. Like, we are not the type of people that are like, no excuses. Like, if you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it, right? But if you're like, I want to lose weight, I'm very serious about it, making sure that you are doing everything that you promised yourself is important.
Exactly. It goes into like thinking about your habits you do every day too. Like if you're like, I have to have dessert every day after dinner, but you're
Mm-hmm.
also like, I really want to lose this weight. I'm on a time crunch. I want to do it quicker.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's something to kind of think about where you can do that. I mean, it is totally up to you. It's your journey. Whatever you kind of adjust throughout your day, your lifestyle, you're going to have benefits.
Mm-hmm.
But thinking about your goals again, is it going to help you get to that weight loss quicker if we're doing dessert every night, if we're having a bowl of ice cream every night? So that's where I think it comes to when we get the question of how much dessert can I eat, or how much soda can I drink, or how often should I drink soda? Like these types of questions.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's not like a yes or no answer. It's
Yeah, whenever you
um,
want.
what do you want out of this
Mm-hmm.
type of
You have to
thing?
be the adult. You have to
Yeah.
be your like parent that's giving you those boundaries and you get to decide. And if you are not in any sort of rush and you just like want to take the journey for as long as it takes, totally fine. This is more for the people that are like, I'm frustrated. How do I make this work?
Mhm.
You have to put in the work and you have to be goal supportive because just wanting to lose weight isn't going to make you lose weight. You got to actually put action into it.
Mhm. It's the
And so,
difference between, like you said, interested versus committed. And it's totally fine to be interested in certain things, but you can't expect to get to these goals if we're just interested. Yeah, you might work your way towards them, but you
mhm,
can't expect to like master them or get to it quicker, so to say, if you're not truly committed to it.
mhm.
And because at first when I said this, I was like, how do we say this without being like, you have to be super strict if you want to
Yeah.
lose the weight? Because that's not what we're saying at all. You just have to be intentional about everything.
Hmm. I
Like,
do this with my husband because he's a very all or nothing like person. And I started doing it like, ask yourself, 'cause he'll be like, can I do this? And he's looking for someone to tell him no. I know he is. And that's what we think we want, but we don't do well with that. We need to be the one that's like, I'm coming to this conclusion on my own. So I'm always asking him, and this isn't like just for weight loss, this is for like everything. Like, is it goal supportive? Like, does it align with the things that you've really decided that you want? And like 9 times out of 10, it's not, right? Or if it's like it is, okay, but it's just like being able to, you have to check in with yourself and be like, is this goal supportive? Is me constantly, skipping workouts because I haven't told myself to go to bed when I need to go to bed. Is that goal supportive? No. Is
Yeah.
like still like I'm gonna, yeah, I'm giving into a lot of sweets every single day because I'm not actually eating food and now I just can't control my sweet tooth. Is that the same thing as like food freedom? Or am I just, like what is it? And the answer is it's totally up to you. Like, what do you want? Because I think that's what I see people get frustrated with is like they actually don't know what they want. So figure out what you want and then make those decisions.
And I mean, for me lately, I've been wanting a lot of brownies, not gonna lie. But I
Oh yeah.
also know, what's important to me is to maintain a healthy pregnancy right now. That is my goal. I am not focused on weight loss. I'm focused on maintaining muscle, not focused on really building muscle right now. I'm focused on surviving the day, trying not to puke, those things.
All those things.
There's been days where I'm like, all I want is a brownie, but I know that's not going to support my goals. That's not going to support what I'm doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I had someone ask me a really good question the other day, and she just simply asked me, like, what do you do when you don't want to do the things? And I was like, I just do it. It sounds like such a like duh answer, and that's not how I mean it to come across at all. But it's just that being an adult part of things where I can't do these things for you. We cannot come to your house, feed you your dinner, tell you when to work out, tell you when to go to sleep. Like at some point you have to decide like when is this going to be important for you?
Mm-hmm.
And even as dietitians, we don't want to do all these things all the time.
Mm-mm.
We just don't. We're humans, we're not robots. There's been several nights where I get home and I'm like, I don't want to cook dinner, but we do it anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or it's like one of those things, and this is where I think it's good to have a strong foundation. If you just stop kind of doing the things, like, I'm not going to be frustrated. I'm going to know I feel like crap because I haven't been doing the things I need to do. I just know that. But it's like, yeah, and this again, why it's good to have a strong foundation. Because then when you do make weight loss goals, it's coming from a place of like, I want to do what helps me feel my best instead of I need to do this because I need to lose weight. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like
Yeah.
you start making decisions. We talked about this even with the alcohol episode. Like you kind of just start decreasing it because you're like, I kind of don't want to feel like crap all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. So those are your weight loss quicker tips. Maybe not what you were expecting,
probably
but
not, but
we don't want you to lose 10 pounds or even 5 pounds really in a
mm,
week. We want this to be sustainable, goal supportive. If we want to put that word in there, we can start playing a game, take a shot of water every time we say goal supportive. But
well, it would definitely have to be with water because if it wasn't
yes, water.
water,
Um, so it's probably a little bit different than you were expecting. But the idea here is to think of the actions that are going to align with what you're wanting. That's the main thing. And then everything that we talked about today, it's going to affect your metabolism. It's going to optimize it and boost it. So that way you're not constantly fighting your body and having to decrease calories or anything like that.
because that's not going to get you anywhere.
Not for the long term, anyways. I mean, maybe quickly, but
Yeah.
my guess is you don't want to spend the rest of your life gaining and losing the same weight.
No.
It's a hunch.
And if you're one of those people that are like, I'm just going to do the quick fix and then I'm going to try all these,
See you soon.
it's going to backfire. And I mean that out of love. But yes, I mean, see you soon because that's what we think we need, but it's not.
And honestly, I would rather you truly think about what kind of our approach is. Like, if you are interested in metabolism makeover, I want you to join when you are ready, when you are committed, when you want to put in this work. You don't have to be committed to every single thing, but when you're truly ready to learn what your body has. Not if you're like, okay, well, I'm going to input some of this, but also do the same things that have worked, but then didn't work.
Yeah.
Doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome is the definition of insanity.
It's only going to frustrate you. Yeah. No.
And that's the end of our talk.
Goodbye. I'm just kidding.
But yes. Thank you everyone for listening. We hope this episode was helpful. We don't ruffle too many feathers. It was a hard one to record just because we know we would probably ruffle some, but it's okay.
Yeah. And if you feel a little ruffled, I mean, reach out to us. Like, I love having conversations about this.
Yeah.
Because there's a reason it ruffled you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so let's talk about it.
Yeah. Nicely.
Yes. Yeah, please be nice.
Just be nice.
Yeah.
Don't shoot the messenger.
Yes.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's it. We'll see you guys next week. See you, hear you. We won't hear you. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.